wide. He got filled in. He just chipped out from his hair. Big hit by Brooks.
That's a hockey, you know, it's only a game. Why do you have to be mad? He's a good guy. He may be tired to live here because here in November month is a minus 32. Could you imagine?
The long wait is over. The countdown is on. 3, 2, 1. It's over.
Fucking free agent friend.
Yeah. Shoes.
I'm gonna shit.
Welcome back, Plugs and Thugs.
I'm gonna fucking shit.
104. Free agent frenzy, buddies.
Hello, fucking Adam. Free agent frenzy, dude. I look like fucking Dude Cactus right now when I was doing that.
I like it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Dude Cactus.
No, hell no, dude. Dude Cactus? No, it's Cactus Jack. God damn it. God damn.
I just wanted to support you.
I said it wrong. That's a thing. I fucking said it wrong. Fucking
how
all
are
buzzed.
You? Hey, how are you, Adam?
Hey, how are you, dead guy?
Morning.
How'd your games go tonight? Heard you guys had a good old-fashioned drag him out back fucking slobber knocker over there, dude.
Are you talking to me or Adam?
Dead guy. Yeah, Adam. You guys had a fucking slobber knocker over there, dude. 10-8.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Jesus. Fucking
goal. 8-1.
Fucking goals aplenty.
It's not fun.
But as always,
you
can follow us down below with all of our socials at in the new
days. I'll get it right.
NTRL Zone on Instagram. On Twitter. On Instagram, you can follow us at itnz.hockey, and then on YouTube, you can follow us at In the Neutral Zone Hockey Podcast.
You can, and then you can also watch Zach and I on the Neutral Zone Hockey League media show, normally weekly. That didn't happen this week.
Nah, we didn't even attempt to do it afterwards.
No.
I think we're just trying to get out of this season, bro.
We are. I'm not giving up on media. We will do it again on Monday. It doesn't help that I keep randomly getting scheduled when I'm not signing up for games for LG. So,
hey, congratulations, dude. Yeah, congratulations, man. Especially in this economy, man. Glad that you were able to find a job. Yeah, I didn't sign up for Monday. I didn't sign up for Monday, but I signed up for Sunday, Tuesday.
I didn't sign up for Monday either, but I was scheduled and just ended up playing because
I was promised a roster spot.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit that motherfucker up too.
What the fuck?
Because he asked too. He was like, "Oh, where's the roster spot?" Yeah.
All right, I mean, I'll fucking take it. I'll play. Just gotta fucking put me in there, dude. Put me in, coach.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah.
So you should definitely be in because he asked me about that. So I will hit him up and say, "Hey, where's that roster spot at?"
Not only can you find me and Daniel on the Neutral Zone Hockey Podcast, you can also find us on the media show. You can also find
Monday. It will happen this Monday.
On Mondays.
That motherfucker. Sunday and Tuesday not happening this week.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I can play Sunday if he hits me up to play Sunday. You can also find me on the Dungeons and Dummies podcast. I wasn't there this past week. I had work engagements. Had to go take care of something after hours.
Oh, you weren't on last night?
Nope, I had to go do some shit for work.
I went to dinner with my sister, so I also did not watch.
Congratulations, man.
Congratulations.
I'm glad you had dinner with your sister. I would never have dinner with my sister.
Yeah, well, my sister's out here from Missouri for until tomorrow.
Where's she stay at in Missouri?
She is in Independence.
Oh, okay. I got family, and my aunt lives in Lake of the Ozarks, and my uncle lives in Springfield. I've been out there before. Missouri's whack, dude.
I went for 36 hours. That was a fucking trip.
It's whack, dog. It's fucking whack out there.
I thought it was cool, but I also went to
a big city, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was out in the sticks, bro.
It's
Yeah, man. There's a lot of if you ain't Christian, we don't like you.
Oh.
Yeah.
If we don't like it, then you can die.
Well, you could die. Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. So you can catch me on Dungeons and Dummies. Whenever Dave and I decide to do a Zach and Dave make a podcast, you can find us on there. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, as you can see, it's just Zach and I tonight. Alex actually had plans. Scott is getting up super early, and he's on the East Coast, so he will be up in about 4 hours. So
yep.
He couldn't make it, and
Dave's wife is leaving for a considerable amount of time, so he's spending some time with her. God bless him.
Yeah, good for him. But Zach and I were not going to let this free agent frenzy.
We're not.
It wasn't going to pass us.
No, we're not letting that go to waste. Absolutely not, dude. So a team that was extremely fucking quiet.
We can start however we want to do this, Zach. I just sent you a link.
Yep.
That just did team by team, but we can go
alphabetical
we want with this.
Alphabetical order. Order. It's easier. One team that was extremely fucking quiet on free agent day was the Anaheim Ducks. Absolutely fucking quiet, dude. Would have been funnier.
That would have been pretty funny.
That's fucked.
Technically, she is, but not permanently. That would have been pretty good.
Only temporarily.
Adam's got a point there. That would have been pretty funny.
So they let some depth players walk, like Andrew Agazino. Carter Rowney also walked as well. They let him become unrestricted free agents.
I thought we were going to talk about relevant people.
Hold on. The only person that they signed on free agent day was Ryan Getzlaf. Getzlaf signed a 1-year contract with them. I am quite shocked by that. I thought he would have wanted to go to a contender. Somebody that, because I heard that the Montreal Canadiens were linked to him.
Yeah.
I also heard that they were linked to Corey Perry, but we'll go over that in a bit.
Yeah.
But, they really fucking signed Rangel. He really signed a 1-year contract. And, Tanner would probably have some better insight. But, as far as I've heard of Ryan Getzlaf, he loves the city. He's a team guy. He's going to stay there,
See, and that's where I'll piggyback on this. I wasn't necessarily shocked. I was more shocked when I heard that there were two other teams that were in on him for that short-term deal. Montreal being one of them. I forgot who the other was. But him testing free agency, it was only a shocker because of exactly what you just said. He's a team first guy. He's just one of those guys that you don't see wearing another jersey. We talked about it before. So that wasn't the shock. It was more so because they allowed him to get there. And I thought maybe once it reached that point that maybe he would get maybe a more lucrative contract from one.
He does have a cup.
He does.
He does have a cup.
So it wasn't a need for him to leave, and that's why I was more shocked that he hit free agency. But I think they did that out of respect for him, to give him the choice, like, hey, if you want to test the market and see what's out there,
and make more money,
make some more money, or like you said, if there was a situation where him and Corey Perry maybe teamed up at a team, okay, I get it. But once that happened, I mean, within a few hours, Ryan Getzlaf had re-signed, yesterday night, Getzlaf had re-signed with the Ducks.
He's got a chicken farm in his backyard, dude.
I mean, he signed for. I mean, that's the thing, is $4.5 million. Yeah, it kind of looks a little steep for where he is in his career, but at the same time, he signed short term. He's the captain. He's been there forever. You have to pay a little bit if you're going to keep the guy. You got to give him some money. And I don't think it's a bad deal for them. I think he wants to retire there. He's one of those guys that you just – I really don't see him – I didn't see him going to another jersey. I just don't.
No, I agree with you. He's got a chicken farm in his backyard. Ryan Getzlaf – I mean, I think he's been in the league a couple years longer than Kopitar. I think he's a couple years older than Kopitar. Mm-hmm. But, if you want a center to learn from – yeah, it does. Fuck. If you want a center to be able to fucking, bring along some prospects and stuff, it's going to be Ryan Getzlaf. I mean, the guy just has insane vision on the ice, and he knows how to play the game, and he knows how to play it well. So, keeping him there for another year, helps bring along some of their prospects. I mean, It's a win-win for Anaheim.
I agree. I didn't see anything other. It was just, like I said, it was more shocking to me that he made it there. And once he got there, I thought maybe there was a chance. But it's a good thing for Anaheim that he stuck around, and it's good for him and his career. He's going to be one of those lifers for Anaheim. He will retire there now.
Yep.
Again, we're going alphabetical. So next is Arizona. This
so they made
a team.
Yeah, this is a team. They made some waves today by trading Darcy Kemper for 2022 first, 24 third, and prospect Connor Timmins. Yeah. I mean, Arizona kind of fleeced Colorado on this, just a smidge.
Yeah, so I agree with that particular deal. I think they fleeced just a smidge, like you said. But at the same time, we'll touch on, obviously, they needed to fill a goalie spot, and I think this is, again, maybe
Darcy Kemper's good.
Darcy Kemper is a great Darcy Kemper is an above-average goalie, and he's going to a team that has a fantastic decor, plays a very structured game, and I think his numbers, as long as he can stay healthy, will be as good. Or yeah, exactly. It'll be the numbers they were getting from their other goaltending, their other netminder that's been there the last, couple of seasons, if not better. I think Kemper's a little. I think Kemper's a little better.
Connor Timmins. Yeah, Connor Timmins depletes some of that decor that Arizona had. Now that they don't have it, because they traded OEL and Connor Garland to Vancouver. Yeah. A couple names that they did sign they did sign Ryan DeZingle, which I think is a good depth signing for them. And they also signed Ben Hutton. Ben Hutton's staying in the geographical area. Got signed by the Kings, went from the Kings to the Ducks, and now he's going to Arizona. He likes the area, I guess.
He likes the West Coast area.
He likes the hot weather. Let's see. Dmitry Yaskin. They signed Dmitry Yaskin to a 1-year deal.
Departures, though. I mean, obviously, we talked about Kemper out. You've got Osterley out. Brassard is a UFA. I mean, Brassard wasn't what he was, but he was a player.
He was a player.
He has a name.
Alex Goligoski hit the market.
Yeah. I mean, he's not a fantastic D-man, but he did the job in Arizona, and I think he hit on his new team will fit in well.
Who'd he go to?
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
Spoil. We're going in alphabetical order. We're just trying
That's
to,
right. That's right.
we're trying to who left, who came.
Antti Raanta hit unrestricted free agent.
Yeah, so Raanta went to a team too, and that team is 180-degree going the other way.
Jason Demers hit unrestricted free agency. That's a bit.
That's a big, yeah.
Yeah,
For
who
he's
do you have on defense? Wait, who the fuck do they have on defense now?
So this was the exact comment that I saw on Twitter this morning. I'm really upset that Arizona is now not in the Pacific Division, because now we would be playing we would be playing a shit ton of terrible defense and goaltending.
Yep, it's kind of shitty for the Kings.
Yeah, but
yeah, so they had some key departures, not only via trade, but
Arizona went from made some moves that moved them to an echelon that we thought might be a playoff team to completely shifting those the other way yet again.
I made this comment to somebody. I can't remember who. I think it was in the Xbox party, but It's wild that they went from we're competing from a playoff spot to now we're going back into rebuild mode. Like, do they not have anybody in Arizona for player asset management? Like, what the fuck is going on over there?
This is exactly why they need to move from the desert to somewhere else.
I would be totally fine with moving them to Houston. I would also be fine with moving them back up north of the border. Canada.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, Canada has a couple cities that deserve.
The good thing is we don't have to move them to Seattle because thankfully they have a team now.
Yeah,
and
they're going to
get to them.
They're going to be fucking better than the Yotes, dude. God damn.
Oh yeah.
I just don't understand how they went from here, from up here to just bottom dwellers so fast, dude. You had Clayton Keller, you had dude. I saw that Christian Dvorak was on the fucking block. What the fuck are you doing?
Dvorak and Garland were on the block at the same time. Okay, let's just get rid of our whole fucking team. I mean,
it's just trash, management, dude. It's just trash management. Don't know what the fuck is going on over there.
I do not either, but it's Arizona, and I'm not surprised by anything at this point. I mean, they haven't really done. They had one good offseason. They acquired some talent. They had a decent deadline, and then they absolutely flatlined and threw it away.
Yep.
They legitimately pulled a Miami Marlins from 5 years ago.
Yep.
Acquire all the great talent, give your city hope, and then all of a sudden, just give it away real quick.
It's just terrible asset management, man. Don't know what the fuck's going on in Arizona. Don't know if they're trying to not have a team or not, but they're making it very obvious that they don't know what to do with don't know what to do with their players.
Just move them out of there.
Yeah.
Moving on to a team that actually is
made some moves, some fucking moves that actually improved their fucking team.
I actually have the list up that I sent you guys, so it'll what do you call it? Compile it a little bit better for this one. So we obviously don't know what the hell. Well, we know a little bit more about what's going on with Tuukka Rask. This is the Boston Bruins, of course. He had surgery. He's going to be out for a significant amount of time. They say basically if he's going to come back, it'll be midway through this next season, which is kind of how Boston structured some of their deals. They did sign a goaltender, which was Linus Ullmark.
That's a signing.
They signed him to a 4-year deal, $5 million AAV.
That is a signing.
So it's a signing. This one I think is debatable. I think Ullmark is actually a pretty decent goaltender. He's never had defense in front of him. Yeah. He's never had defense in front of him. He's had some pretty good numbers or decent numbers, especially from where he's been playing. I think a lot of other teams kind of saw that he's a little bit better than his numbers have represented.
Yeah.
And so he did get paid. But at the same time, Boston wasn't sure what's going on with Rask. Rask did have surgery. He's had hip surgery. I think it's a 5 to 6 month recovery time.
Old man Rask.
Yeah, so he may come back. And if he does, he could be on the books for half a season. They can get him at a discount, and Rask can be a good tandem goalie with Linus Ullmark, because the backup that he's going to have is Swayman, who has the rights to be able to send him to the AHL.
He's still prospect.
He doesn't have to. Yeah, he doesn't have to clear waivers, anything like that. So I think it's a very, very smart signing from them. And right now, Linus Ullmark is going to be their number one goaltender going forward. And in front of a team, or behind a team like that plays such a great structure, they have a good defensive core. You have a team that plays, I would say mostly, even their forwards play very well two-way. They just have a good structure in front of them, and I think Ullmark can surprise people. Even Adam saying the same thing. He's never had a fucking NHL team in front of him, and he's done decent.
It's true.
It's true. I think that Ullmark can really surprise, and he might be, I don't want to say a steal, but I think he may end up living up to or slightly exceeding the contract that he just got.
I agree.
I know Buffalo wanted to Buffalo wanted to hold on to him, but they just, they have so many more holes and so many more question marks that there wasn't really much you can do.
A signing that they made that I actually like a lot was Nick Foligno. Nick Foligno was a great signing by them, dude.
Yes,
great fucking signing. Great depth signing by them. Somebody who's a leader. We just got our bots a fucking. What the fuck is that? The stream elements?
Oh yeah, I'm either Scott did it or it's a bot that's set up for it. This is great.
But yeah, I like the Nick Foligno signing. Another signing that they made, and it is a signing, was Derek Forbort for 3 years at how much? $9 million?
$3 million. Yeah. $3 million AAV. That's a signing.
That is a signing. But they also did re-sign free agent Mike Riley to a 3-year contract. One person that they didn't re-sign, and I was actually quite surprised by this, they allowed David Krejci to hit the market. David Krejci
doesn't Foligno kind of slot in there?
No, Krejci's more of a second line center. Foligno's more of a checking line center.
Yeah, but I think maybe with with the depth that they have, I think that they could probably fill that and either flex it, or Foligno might.
Well, yeah, you bump Charlie Coyle up to 2C now, but that to me, their glaring hole now, Boston, is at 2C. They don't have a valid 2C unless they bring up what was his name, Brian Beecher or whoever they drafted last draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had a really good. They had a really solid center prospect in that draft. But you know what though? They also did bring in Eric Holla.
Yeah, they have Holla. Yeah, don't overlook that one.
He's more of a third line center role, but you could see him flexing into that second line center.
Yeah, but especially the way Krejci's gone the last. He's been valuable, but at the same point, I think Holla can do similar responsibilities.
Yeah.
He's been a 2-3 flex for quite a while, and if you have that 2-3 flex with Foligno,
yeah,
I
Charlie
think they
Coyle
can get away with and I think they can get 1 through 4. I think they're fine.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
You can do 1, 2. However you present it, I think 1 to 4. They're very deep. The other thing is they re-signed Taylor Hall.
They did.
That is something I don't want to say I left out, but obviously we have it over here.
But Taylor Hall on your second line is a decent. No matter who's at center.
Yeah, he signed for a reasonable contract.
I think it was like
I don't want to say a hometown discount, but
It was like 4 years, 4.6 or something like that.
It wasn't something that people thought he was going to get. And he wanted to stay in Boston because he had success.
Yep.
You know, the team is good. So I think that's a very, very good signing for them. They were able to maintain him after trading for him at the deadline. They also got, you know, again, Thomas Nosek. I mean, he's not a flashy name, but he's played very well for Vegas the last few seasons.
He's a great bottom six forward.
Yeah, and they got him at 2 years, 1.75 per season.
They made a lot of smart signings, man. They made a lot of smart signings.
They did.
This free agency period. Moving on to a team that did stuff. They did some things. The Buffalo Sabres.
They did a lot of things.
Yeah, they did a lot of things. One of the big things that they did, they actually traded for Will Butcher, which I actually think is a great fucking move.
Yeah.
Will Butcher, I think, just needs a change of scenery.
Well, was Buffalo the change of scenery you were expecting?
Probably not. I mean, he probably won't progress at all by going there. But they traded for him for a future considerations.
Oh yeah. That's right. Future considerations. He must be very good.
Yeah, but to replace Linus Ullmark, they signed Aaron Dell to a 1-year contract.
And
that is a signing.
And
who was it?
The skeleton of Craig Anderson.
Oh shit! They did sign Craig Anderson. Oh,
their goaltending duo going into next season will be Aaron Dell and Craig Anderson.
I like Craig Anderson, but still,
that's not who you want as a goaltender at this point in his career. As a goaltender that you're going to play more than a few times a season.
But they also brought in Mark Pysyk. He is I think a good middle. He could be a top 4 defenseman. I like Mark Pysyk. I wish the Kings would have made a move for him a while ago, but
they did sign Vinny Hinostroza.
So they lost a lot of key players though. They traded Sam Reinhart. Who else did they move out?
They moved out Reinhart. They moved out who else? McCabe. McCabe's gone. They also moved out notable Carter Hutton.
Carter Hutton was moved out.
Linus Ullmark, who we obviously touched on. They moved those guys out. Plus, we already know, we've talked about Jack Eichel for many, many episodes already. It's looking like he's going to be traded. Although they did have a presser this week basically saying, yeah, we hold the cards, blah, 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 blah. But we also only want players that want to be here on the team. But we will only do it for, progressing us now or in the future. Somebody's going to do it. Jack Eichel will not be on this roster before next season starts. Look for that to happen. But there's also a couple of teams in, so they're not going to jump on it right away. Jack Eichel will also be moved off this team. And then you're looking at, a basic full-fledged rebuild from Buffalo.
Again,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what the fuck is?
Again, culture goes back to exactly what we said. You've got to do something at some point if you want to give hope to your fans, whoever's there, your organization, people to sign there. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, even if you have to build a fan base, you want people to be comfortable to sign there because they have a great organization. There are so many of those, not just in the NHL, in other sports that people will sign with teams that have been very bad because the organizational culture is great, and they have a plan that they want to get better, and Buffalo just doesn't have it. They really don't.
They don't.
They should call their buddies over at the Bills and find out how they do it.
Fuck.
They're getting better.
Moving on from a shitty team to a team that's not shitty.
Are they? Are they not?
I like some of the moves that they made. The Carolina Hurricanes, barring the Tony DeAngelo signing, I really like that they. I really like that they went out and traded for Ethan Bear. Man, he's a great young defenseman.
Yeah, trade for Ethan Bear and sign Tony DeAngelo to completely shit on him, I guess, for being a minority, right?
Eesh. That's a thing.
It's true. It's all over social media. Like, oh, great, Tony Ethan Bear will be so comfortable going into Carolina after they signed Tony DeAngelo.
Now, one thing that I did not understand that they did, they traded Ned, their goalie,
this whole goalie situation with Carolina
to the Detroit Red Wings for Jonathan Bernier. They then allowed Jonathan Bernier to become a free agent.
Yep, it was Bernier's rights, correct?
And then they signed Frederik Andersen to a 2-year contract that was more expensive than what Ned got in Detroit. Then
Freddie Andersen.
Then they signed Antti Ranta. Yeah, dude, if you think Frederik Andersen is going to fucking carry you to anything.
There's Ranta right there. Injury prone Antti Ranta signs with Carolina. Then you've got injury prone Freddie Andersen, who's been mediocre pretty much his whole career. He went to Toronto on an absolutely loaded team. We talked about, over the last couple of seasons, him being
he shit the bed.
He shit the bed. He lost his job to Jack Campbell. Not that
nothing against Jack Campbell.
No, it's not that. We talked about it. It had to do with their contracts. Freddie Andersen was the higher paid player. Jack Campbell comes in, takes his job, goes on a complete run. He's not a great goaltender. And then you throw him to Carolina, where, as we were talking last season, they were a great depth team that just had a great structure. They were going to be a playoff team. And then they did what they did this offseason.
But you know what, though? They did make they did do some signings that I think are quite smart. Ian Cole signed at a 1-year contract. I think that's a smart deal.
Yeah.
That brings some veteran leadership, and it also brings some grit to their defensive core. But then also signing Josh Olivo to a 1-year contract, kind of like a show me contract. Yeah. Josh Olivo has a hell of a shot. He's going to provide them with some depth scoring.
I mean, Levo's been bounced around from multiple teams and has just needed a shot, which is great. And maybe he goes to Carolina and does get his shot and performs. But
all right, my guy, we watched him in Anaheim a lot.
And then in Toronto.
He's just terrible.
Barely, because he was very injury prone.
He's not a franchise goalie, dude. He's not.
He's not
a franchise goalie.
Especially when this is the problem. When you allow a guy that could have been signed for the same or less than what you just paid a guy who's been a proven goalie on a good team.
Proven is a word. I mean,
a proven goalie is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he had a good season.
I'm talking about Freddie Andersen. He's a proven goalie. Yeah. Ned, okay, he had a very great season. But at the same time, where they're at and what your plan from Carolina, I thought they were trying to go long term.
It's not like their window is closing. Their window's not closing at all.
It's not closing, but they have moved out some key guys. So unless the guys that they've signed to replace them, I mean, you've moved out a Warren Fogle, who's on this sheet. He's gone. You lost Dougie Hamilton in free agency.
Teach me how to Dougie.
You signed Tony DeAngelo, who's as a player. Look,
it's not
I do want to touch on this because I actually know a decent amount of Carolina Hurricanes fans. It's a signing. I mean, the thing is you look at a team that's prided themselves on being. I mean, they were the underdog. They were a team that people wanted to root for. They had a great culture. They did the storm, the storm surge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was somebody that people enjoyed rooting for. And now you signed DeAngelo as a player. He's not a terrible player. He has talent and he has room to grow. The problem is when you build yourself. I mean, I sent you guys the picture a couple days ago after the signing happened. I mean, Carolina was one of the front runners in signing with like these social groups that were trying to attract more, expand the game and trying to spread it to women and people, that the underserved and all of that. And it's like, now you go and sign
Tony DeAngelo.
You bring in Tony DeAngelo, who has
Tony QAnon DeAngelo.
A track record. It's not a blip on the radar.
He's a piece of shit.
Has been a piece of shit for multiple years. He has legitimately caused a petition or multiple to circulate around social media to be signed, to not sign this guy. And now you have people that are have been huge advocates of the Hurricanes, either giving up season seats or, I mean, social media is what it is, but I mean, that's something that a lot of companies and sports teams build their
brand upon.
Yeah, their brand upon. And you've got tons of people that are unfollowing them because of this signing, because of the way he's carried himself over the last.
He's a piece of shit.
I don't want to say even just the last couple of years, but the last couple of years have really brought it to the forefront. It's been kind of hidden. And then now you've got what he's done the last 2 years.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. And hopefully, and not just for the organization, but for him,
I'm not hoping. Yeah, I'm not hoping that it becomes liberal or anything, dude. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I could frankly care less what fucking political leaning he has or anybody for that nature.
Yeah.
But with that being said, he's a piece of shit. He's just a fucking terrible human being.
I mean, we were sitting here a year ago talking about him getting into a fight with his own goalie, a physical altercation over something that had originally started that had nothing to do with hockey.
Yep.
And then turned into, he let in a soft goal or some shit. And then it turned into a physical altercation. But it started with something completely nothing to do with hockey.
Yep.
And it's like, I mean, do you really want that? Especially for a team that people just most people root for Carolina. I'm not going to lie. I know too many people that just.
I do.
Yeah, I did. I did see that, Adam. That I think it was fuck, I always forget how to say his name. Wyshynski.
Yeah, Wyshynski.
He blatantly asked him, like, did you support the Capitol riot?
What did he say?
He said, no, absolutely not.
Oh, good for him. He's learned.
I mean, he was against it.
Look, man, if you want to have like those kind of thoughts and feelings, like in private, by all means. But you live in a world where the world like scrutinizes everything that you fucking say when you're you don't even have to be a superstar. The world just scrutinizes what you say.
Great.
So you kind of gotta be smart about like what you say to the world.
And the thing is the thing that really bugs me is when people are saying, like, oh, that means we're silenced and blah, blah, blah. No, that's not technically true. You do have to realize, look, I've said it here before, Not that we're some big fucking organization, but I've said it here before. It's like I get that athletes are people too. They have their own thoughts, their own feelings, they have their own beliefs. It's like I just get that. But at the same time, when you're in that space,
representing a professional company.
Correct. You just have to watch the way you say things. There are multiple different ways you can present yourself and support something and this and that. Like Zach says multiple times, like you can be, a supporter of, one political group versus another. But do you really have to be like
an asshole to people about
it? Yeah.
And that goes for both sides, bro.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with
don't get me wrong, dude. Like,
side.
I'm a fucking bleeding heart liberal, bro. But, like, even I'm just like, man, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, for most of the shit that I see, bro. Like, the way that you think and the way that you vote, the way that the political leanings that you support and stuff like that, that is your business. It's not anybody else's. And you don't need to try and convince anybody otherwise, dude.
That's what always gets me. It's the convincing part. Like
you don't have to, dude. You don't have to.
You just live your life.
Exactly.
But Carolina also signed Cedric Paquette.
No, they let him walk. Paquette signed with somebody else.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right. He did. I forget he got traded there.
He did.
That is my bad. Cedric Paquette did sign with somebody else, so I don't want to spoil it. Reimer left also. That's a leave.
A loss. That is a loss. Yes.
What?
That is a leave.
All right,
I'm going to go get another beer.
Yeah. Do that.
It's time to move on to Chicago.
You mean Calgary? Yes. They did some moves too. So, Calgary. So they allowed Derek Ryan to leave. Yes, Derek Ryan, that's a name, but he's a solid center. Has played very well. He did become a UFA. I believe he signed with somebody else already. Let's see. Dan Vladar, they traded for in the deal with holy crap. With Boston. They made a trade with Boston and they acquired Dan Vladar, who Boston had to let go after they signed Linus Ullmark, and then they still have Swayman, so they traded Vladar to Calgary for a 2022 third-round pick. Then you have, let's see.
We're talking about Calgary?
Yeah. Calgary acquired Vladar for a 2022 third-round pick from Boston. Let's see. They lost Domingue, but he didn't really do much there. Kevin Gravel signed.
Glassing out, baby.
1 year, 2-way contract with Calgary.
Glassing out. That's his Twitter handle.
Glassing out. Nikita Zadorov, they did acquire from Chicago for a 2022 third
I like
round
this
pick.
trade.
Yeah, that's a good deal. They needed some D-men. I think Zadorov is he's a very solid he's kind of a in between. He's been very good defensively the last couple of years. When he was in Colorado, he was a little bit more offensive than when he got moved to Chicago.
Yeah.
But over the last season or two, he's really taken on the responsibility of being a solid D-man, and he has now gone over to Calgary.
Yep.
Trevor Lewis.
Former Kings great, Kings legend.
Trevor Lewis, has signed with Calgary for a 1-year deal as a free agent. Blake Coleman. This one here, okay. It might be a little long, 6-year deal with Calgary, but I think Blake Coleman, people forget that in New Jersey, he hadn't really got a chance to prove himself. He was a very was he a high draft pick or was he just a well-regarded? Oh God, we'll get to that in a second.
Blake Coleman was taken in the 3rd round by the New Jersey Devils.
Okay, so he's a 3rd-round pick from New Jersey, but he was one of the very high-regarded players on that team. He went to Tampa Bay in that deal for it
was the 1st round.
Oh, okay. It was the 1st-round pick.
Yeah, it was a 1st-round pick, and I can't remember what else.
Yeah, I mean, Blake Coleman, I really think that he's a very talented player. I think he can really show a little bit more than he's kind of been able to, especially in Tampa Bay. We always talk about, how loaded that team is. He played a very integral part of that team this past season. I think he has some talent left to give, and going to Calgary, I think he can probably fit in their top 6 very well. I think he's a good player. I really like Blake Coleman.
I don't think he's going to be anything other than a bottom 6 forward. He's never played with
middle 6. Sorry, I didn't want to say top 6. Middle 6.
Yeah, he's never going to be anything more than that. And the reason being, you don't put Blake Coleman on your 2nd line because that's not the type of game he plays.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just regard Coleman a little bit higher. I think he has some talent that's untapped still. But he signed a 6-year deal with Calgary. I think it was 4.5?
Calgary, I thought it was 6.
Hold on. Jesus, it didn't show contract. Blake Coleman, I'll just look it up.
6-year, $29.4 million. So
why do they make us do math? I don't want to do math.
4.9 million.
Okay, yeah. So he's just under 5. Yeah, 4.9. I mean,
that's not a bad deal.
It's but not a bad deal.
6 years is a bit long.
The length, yes, might be a little long, but I think depending on what they do, I think Calgary could be relevant for a while. It just depends on what they do, and it goes back to a question that Adam just proposed. How long do we think Tkachuk stays there?
I think he's going to stay in Calgary because that's the next captain.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think again, we kind of reached when we were talking about some of the potential deals, and I think a lot of people did. There were some even relevant reporters that were talking about teams trying to pry Tkachuk away from Calgary. But at the same time, I think Calgary knows what they have. He's really the new age player you want. I mean, he's skill, grit. He's an asshole. Yep. He's a pest. If you're not a Calgary fan, you will not like him. But you will respect his film, and he's really good at what he does.
If they're going to move forward from Calgary, it's going to be Sean Monahan or Johnny Gaudreau. It's one of those two. Matthew Tkachuk is going to be there for a while. That's their next captain for sure.
I think so too. And Monahan is. I'd love to have Monahan.
Oh yeah, so would I.
He's a player.
He is a player. He is a fucking player. Moving on to Chicago.
They made some moves.
Yes, they did. They made some money moves, dude. Bringing in Seth Jones and then signing him to a contract extension. They made some fucking money moves, bro.
Seth Jones. 9.5, though. I mean, this is the thing here. Stats-wise, Seth Jones has not been very good the last 1.5, 2 years.
There are people saying he's on the decline.
I think Seth Jones looks. So I understand he may be on the decline, and it's definitely possible. I think 9.5 is a lot for what he's done recently. But at the same time, people need to realize that year by year, most of the time, and especially this season, so much for that flat cap. Flat cap isn't a thing right now. People are spending, and they're spending a lot on D-men. 9.5 is probably too steep. That I would have been comfortable with for a Seth Jones. Werenski, that's another story, and
we'll get to that.
That. And I only bring up Werenski because we talked about wanting to trade for him as well. And it was, a teammate of Seth Jones before he was traded to Chicago. Term and 9.5, that's a lot for him. But I think it will help Chicago. Again, we talked about them not having D-men at all. They did.
And they traded out of Boquist.
They traded away D-men. Yeah, I mean, Boquist was involved in this deal, right?
He was.
So you trade away Boquist, and they've already traded away D-men recently. I mean, they flipped a forward for a D-man last season.
And then they also they traded Duncan Keith to the Edmonton Oilers.
Yes, they did. Duncan Keith was on his way out. I mean, would you call him a D-man at this point? I don't know, but I think that was a positive for them. Yes, as an organization, it sucks. But to replace him with a big contract for Seth Jones, I don't know that was the smartest idea with that deal. As a player, okay, fine. But 9.5, that's a lot, especially losing the assets that they did for that.
You're right, and I will concede this point.
The longer time goes and the more D gets signed. Yeah. Yep, you're right. I mean, that's the thing. So, I mean, as a player, I think Seth Jones can rebound there. I don't think necessarily he's declining and it's a significant decline and he's going to continue to decline. I think he can still be a solid player. But at that contract level, I don't think so. That cap hit is huge. Not worth it. And they lost Adam Boquist, which, like you said, that's a defensive prospect there. And then you get Jake McCabe. They overpaid slightly for him as well. Jake McCabe is a very, very capable defensive defenseman. But again,
it's only an overpayment if you don't have the cap.
That's my new favorite saying. I did tell you that. So if they have the cap, which they don't, not really. They really don't, considering you're paying Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves 10.5, and then you're paying Seth Jones 9.5. That's a lot of money.
I look at Chicago to rebound next year, man.
I think they're going to be a good team this next year, and if they're not, that's a problem.
That is a problem.
It's not a good problem to have because they signed. How do you say? I don't know how to say his first name, but Kyra.
Oh, Juju Kyra.
Okay.
That's a good bottom six signing.
Yep. They did lose David Kampf, who was actually a well-regarded on the free agent market.
They didn't qualify him.
Yeah, they didn't qualify him, and so he ended up signing elsewhere.
They didn't qualify Adam Gaudette, and then they signed him to a one-year deal.
Yeah, they re-signed Gaudette.
They didn't qualify Pius Sutter either.
That was a big one. I think that is a loss. They did lose Pius Suter, which we'll talk about the team he signed with soon, but they did lose him, and he was a pretty regarded prospect for them and has done well the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
So that was a big loss for them, but I think that, again, I think they're going to rebound this season. If they don't, that's going to be a problem because if they don't rebound this past season and become a playoff team or a threat, that's a big loss because Kane and Taves are going to be coming due and getting old. And then you got Seth Jones on a big contract, and they did move out Duncan Keith and
Brent Seabrook.
Brent Seabrook's contracts. So that's good.
Moving on to a team that didn't really do much either. You had the Columbus Blue Jackets. Besides moving Seth Jones, they really didn't make any splashes or anything.
They re-signed Boone Jenner, which is good for the team, not good for Boone Jenner.
Yeah, poor Boone Jenner. Brandon Dubinsky finally hit free agency.
Yep. Gavin Bayreuther, as we talked about last week. Yes, we talked about last week because we did do it after the draft. Bayreuther ended up coming back to Columbus. I don't think it was a significant trade, but Bayreuther was the exposed player that was acquired by Seattle. Ended up coming back to Columbus and signing a 2-year, 2-way contract.
Still no idea who he is. Texier signed a 2-year contract extension. That's pretty much it, man. They didn't really do much. Sean Corrali, 4-year contract. I mean, that's a bit much to sign Sean Corrali to. But again, a team that didn't really do a whole lot. Correct. Besides today, today they signed Zach Werenski to term is the AAV is 9.58.
9.583. Right through the heart there.
Yeah, I'm really upset about that. But yeah, it was a 6-year, 9.583. I would have loved him in LA, but
yeah, we were hoping that they were loading. And they still can. It's probably not going to be for Werenski if he signed a long extension at that AAV. He's probably not going to be traded, at least for the foreseeable future. But that's unfortunate. I thought we were going to be able to load up for him, and
that's a signing.
That's a signing.
The Colorado Avalanche didn't really do much besides sign their captain, Gabriel Landeskog, to a reasonable contract.
This was big. You know what? I mean, you want to say they didn't do much. Them getting Landeskog, especially after the news we got over the weekend, is huge.
It's a reasonable contract.
It's a reasonable contract. We thought after this past weekend, it was looking like they were going to lose Landeskog. For us, I mean, as a Kings fan,
that's perfect.
It sucks. No, it sucks. I was hoping we were going to be able to jump into the Landeskog sweepstakes.
Oh, yeah.
But as a hockey fan, and what we do here, I think this is, again, a very reasonable deal. I think he may have taken, I don't want to say a hometown discount, but he took a slight reduction. He probably could have got more on the
he could have got more on the open market for sure.
He could have got a little bit more on the open market. He's their captain, been their captain since he was 19 years old. And I think that this is huge. Again, it was looking very south for Colorado as an organization.
Yep.
After this weekend, it was really looking like they was going to lose him. There were multiple teams in on him if he hit that free agency. But they got it done at the last minute. They did, however, not get to re-sign Philip Grubauer.
Or Brandon Saad.
Yeah, Brandon Saad again. It was going to be Landeskog or Saad. Once Landeskog re-signed, it looked like Saad was gone.
They lost some considerable depth, though, dude.
Losing Grubauer was big for this team because they really thought they were going to get that deal done before free agency hit. Grubauer ended up coming out and saying that, again, they may have ended up getting this deal done, but we'll talk about where he goes. And those of you that are big hockey fans obviously know where he's at, but he gave them, his exact quote was basically, they had the time and I gave them the time and the basically the parameters of what I wanted to do. That expired once I hit free agency. I kind of made the move basically for myself. Yeah. At that point, they had plenty of time.
As you should.
Yeah, especially if you're, it's not like he got a significant amount more than what we were expecting for Grubauer to get. To be honest with you, I don't think he got overpaid.
If I'm Colorado though, I'm a bit concerned because they lost a bunch of depth that they're going to have to replace in-house, and I'm not sure if they have this depth. They lost Matt Calvert, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, and Carl Soderberg. Those are key pieces in the bottom six. Patrick Nemeth. These are all fucking key pieces in the bottom six. You know what I mean? Also on depth, right? So
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that is a concern for them. Again, I think as an organization, I have to give it to, the front office that has done a great job there over the last several seasons. That maybe they just know their organization top to bottom and think they can replace that talent or those spots. And if they can, good for them. And that's great to know. I mean, we already did talk about, you got Byram coming up. He's going to be there. He's going to replace.
Hope he's ready.
Yeah. I think Byram's going to be ready this season. I really do.
But he's not this, but you're losing Patrick Nemeth and replacing him with Bowen Byram. And it's just two separate play styles.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of questions for Colorado going into next season. Do they have the depth? That's the hard part.
We will find out, but I think they're still a very talented team. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yes. Moving on.
Moving on to Dallas. It's dead guys Dallas. They signed Braden fucking Holtby, dude. Braden Holtby got bought out and then signed by the Dallas Stars. And I think this is a great fucking move for the Dallas Stars.
I do too.
Also, they brought in Ryan Suter, which is going to help on the back end with John Klingberg. Him and John Klingberg together is going to be great.
I think this is a great signing. The only issue I have with it is the length of the deal. But if Suter's mindset transforms over to his actual play, it's an absolute steal.
Yeah.
Because
what is it, a 3-year deal?
It's a 4-year deal. He got the fourth. Yeah. So this is the thing. This is where my concern goes. He got 4 years, and he got a complete full no movement clause for all 4 years.
Hey, God damn.
And I mean, that's the thing, is that's my only hangups on this deal. But look, I understand as a player, you're not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm probably only going to play out my 4 years and be done. But Ryan Suter is a good player. Nobody's ever doubted what he has left in the tank. It's more so most people thought he was going to sign a 2 to 3 year deal. He wanted that 4th year. That 4th year is what hung up a lot of teams. So now he's getting 4 years at a great AAV with a no movement clause, which is my problem. It's just the holistic deal, not necessarily one separate from the other. I think Suter's going to be great for this team for at least 2 seasons, if not 3. If he ends up playing, his quote today was something like, I feel so great, I'm going to play till I'm 45. If he ends up playing well for the next 8 seasons, I mean, that's quite a steal. If he plays to the level that we know Ryan Suter to play for 4 seasons, that is not a bad contract. If he falls off a cliff in year 2 or year 3,
you're fucked.
you're fucked because he has an NMC too.
Yep.
Not just the AAV. It's bad time, but I think they'll make it work, and I think they may not need to rely on him when you got a Heeskin in. That's going to be a great pairing, but when he doesn't necessarily have to be that guy, when you're splitting that with other guys, I mean, that could go a long way, and it could help in his health going forward.
I mean, I don't know. They've lost some key people. You know, you got Stephen Johns leaving. You got fucking Jamie Alexiak leaving. Yeah, that's a signing.
Yeah.
Moving on to Detroit. They didn't really do a whole lot. They signed Jordan Osterley to a 2-year deal. They signed Rand Murphy to a 1-year, 2-way contract. Rand Murphy completely fell off the face of the earth. And they signed Sam Gagne.
Pius Suter.
Contract. Yep.
Pius Suter. This is where he went. Pius Suter is a very good player, as I mentioned when we were talking about Chicago. I know our buddy Gio was very upset that they did not tender an offer over to Suter. Now he goes to a young Detroit team that
it could bode well for Pius Suter.
Yes, they're rebuilding, but they have
pieces.
I mean, they got Stevie Y, and they have pieces. I think eventually they're going to be a good team, and they were able to sign Suter as to a 2-year contract. It's basically a bridge deal at this point. If they are able to turn the tables here and start showing some promise, I think it's going to be a good deal. They also have to look at this. I know who is it that's on the block? Guy we were hoping for.
Oh, Tyler Bertuzzi.
Yeah, Bertuzzi's still on the. I don't want to say on the block, but they're listening to offers for Bertuzzi. But maybe after these deals and the draft, maybe they don't move him, and they have some promise there, or they can move Bertuzzi and just do it for future assets.
Continue the rebuild.
Yeah. We'll see. They did sign. They got who else? They lost Bobby Ryan's contract, so
that's about it, man. They lost fucking Alex Biega, Henrik Zetterberg.
Signed Calvin Pickard to a 1-year deal.
Zetterberg's contract finally came off the book.
Yeah, that's also good. Yeah, I mean, Detroit is going to trend up sooner than later. I actually think we talked about this. They've done a very great job in their drafts and acquiring of assets. So look for them to be, trending up soon. But this offseason, they did sign Sam Gagne.
That's a big move, dude. Moving on to Edmonton. Couple signings there. They signed Tyson Barrie to a 3-year contract extension. Not a surprise. I don't necessarily like it because I don't like Tyson Barrie, but it is what it is. Now,
3? Was it only 3 years?
3 years. Yeah.
For
That's a good signing. Yeah, it's a good signing for them because I'm sure Barrie was looking for multi-year.
Holy shit! I thought it was longer. I thought Tyson Barrie got more. Probably not, but I thought he got more because, my God, Tyson Barrie is a signing.
It is a signing. And then another signing.
Oh, yeah, that's the other signing.
Another signing is signing Cody CC to a 4-year contract. Oh, man, that is a signing right there, dude.
So, hold on. Before we get to that, they made these signings because the man that they traded Taylor Hall out for signed with another team.
Yep.
And he was a D-man, Adam Larson. He went
and they moved out. They moved out fucking Ethan Bear.
And moved out Ethan Bear. So you have Tyson Berry signed, yes, on a 3-year, $4.5 million deal. That's a signing for an offensive defenseman in a offensive
heavy
team.
But it's a heavy division.
A heavy division with nothing but offense to give on that team, no defense at all.
It's going to work out great for him.
Oh, yeah, especially since, like you said, they signed Cody Ceci to a 4-year, $3.25 million deal. Because Cody Ceci is an absolute stud on the defensive end.
Oh, yeah, dude. He's the defenseman's defenseman, dude. But you know what, though?
It's a signing.
They signed Zach Hyman to a 7-year contract.
And they only didn't sign him to 8 because they couldn't get Toronto to bite on whatever they were offering in the draft for compensation.
Yeah, let's sign that 29-year-old to that fucking deal.
So, okay, the question I posed to you guys in chat, did you think 29-year-old Zach Hyman was going to get more at any point in his career as a free agent than 29-year-old Taylor Hall?
Nope. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
They did.
I don't know, man.
They traded Ethan Bear out, but they did get Warren Fogle.
Warren
Fogle is I did see a very, very good tweet on this. This actually went back to one of the best 1-for-1 swaps I think I've seen recently. Yes, they need D-men, but as far as talent-wise, I think this is a very fair 1-for-1 swap. Warren Fogle is a very solid forward that can probably do a little bit more than he's kind of shown. Again, yeah. I think he's shown kind of the talent that he has, but I think you go to a team like Edmonton that is very offensive, and I think he can.
They've really bolstered their bottom 6. Yeah. And the reason why I say that, not only the trade with Warren Fogle, but they also signed Derek Ryan to a 2-year contract. So, I mean, that bolsters
Derek Ryan went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this bolsters their bottom 6, man. Their bottom 6 is looking a lot better. I don't know, man. I just don't know what management in Edmonton has been doing for the past 10 years, because this is just kind of ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
Kind of ridiculous. Moving on to Florida.
They made some moves.
Yes, they did.
Good ones, too.
They extended Carter Verhaeghe's contract, which is a smart signing. They also extended Brandon Montour for a 3-year contract.
Yep.
Let's see. What else did they do?
They brought Maxime Mammon back from the KHL. That is... So I was talking to G about this. Mammon might end up being a scratch, but he's also a middle 6. He's not a bottom 6. He's a middle 6 forward that can actually produce. But they just have so many good, talented players that I don't know if Mammon cracks the lineup there. Yeah. And he may end up being a trade piece. But he's done very well over in the KHL, which is why they were able to pry him back. They also
they traded for Sam Reinhart.
Yes, traded for Sam Reinhart. This is going to be big for this team. I think he's going to play very well on the wing. Hold on, let me. Not hold on, but continue to talk. But I was going to find the projected.
It's going to be Huberdeau, Barkov, and then Sam Reinhart on the top line. That's dirty. That's absolutely dirty.
Yeah, okay, you have it. Perfect.
I don't have it, but I know that that's going to be their top line.
Oh, okay.
I saw what you're talking about. I see that too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be a dirty fucking top line. And their second line's not looking bad either.
No. They're going to be a solid team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the conference finals again.
Yep, I agree.
They didn't lose much. Again, they need to find out how to move out that contract from Mr. Bobrovsky, but if they're okay swallowing the pill and Bob's okay swallowing the pill and being a backup and letting the young goaltender go ahead and take over there, I think they're going to be a very, very good team yet again.
I agree. Moving on to our beloved Los Angeles Kings. They made some moves.
Some moves were made.
They brought in Garrett Sparks to kind of play in the AHL.
AHL All-Star, Garrett Sparks.
Yep, they brought in Garrett Sparks for that.
Goaltender of the year in the AHL.
They also re-signed Andreas Athanasiou to a 1-year, $2.7 million contract.
We talked about wanting that guy.
We also signed Alex Edler to a 1-year, $2.7 million contract.
No, 3.5.
Is it 3.5? 1 year, $3.5 million contract. Mm-hmm. And then the big fish. The big fucking fish. Signed Philip Deneau to a 6-year, $5 million contract. 5.5. 5? 5.5.
5.5. You're right.
$5.5 million contract. Some Kings fans don't like this. And I can understand why they don't.
I don't. I mean, I understand the initial, but we will talk through this. Yes, we will.
I understand where they're coming from, but on the flip side of this, you got to understand that this is making a move for the future. Yes, he's 28 years old. Yes, or 29, 28. But with that being said, this dude is going to be a monster fucking 3C when it's Byfield, Kopitar, Philip Deneau, and then whoever else we have in fourth line. I mean, dude, you're setting yourself up for the future in a very, very good way.
We've legitimately – so this is where my immediate erection came from this deal. It goes back to what multiple actual sports writers, not, fans just expressing their disbelief on the internet. This does a lot for LA. I mean, you have Anze Kopitar, who is not getting younger, but he's very reliable, top-end center, still the number 1 C here, has very, very good offensive abilities that haven't been able to still, in my opinion, be tapped because he's such a great 200-foot center. And he always has to go in and be the shutdown guy against opposing teams, top lines. And he has to do that every game because we don't have, I don't want to say much depth, but we don't anymore. We've had
a glaring hole at center ever since Jeff Carter sliced his ankle open.
Yes. And the thing is you just look at that, and I just think a lot of people are saying, oh, well, he doesn't shoot too much and blah, blah, blah. He started shooting more, and the thing is he's just such a great, reliable center that you're expecting him to play the 200-foot game. If you bring in a guy like Philip Deneau, that's what he's done in his career.
But he also produces points. Yes, that's the misconception.
He's a playmaker. Again, he's a playmaker that has been on, much shittier teams than what, sorry, but
he's going to have better
shittier teams than, than Kopitar or any other player. He is a shutdown center. He matches up against top centers or top lines from other teams, no matter where. He did it for Montreal against Tampa Bay's fucking top line in the playoffs this season. I understand Montreal went on a run, but going on a run doesn't qualify when you're looking at individual play. And Deneau looked great against Tampa Bay. And you throw him at 2C, and he could be a shutdown center, and he could be a playmaker, and you let Kopitar focus. Again, when you say focus, that doesn't mean he's going to give up his 200-foot game. That just means that sometimes he gets less playing time. He won't have to play 22, 23 minutes a night and then shut down the top line from the other team.
Yep.
and produce offensively. He
Yep.
will be able to play 200-foot hockey.
I love the signing.
And score. It's a great signing. And like you said, depth-wise, right now, you've got Anze Kopitar, Danault, Byfield, potentially 3C already.
Yeah,
more than likely. If not, you got a Velarde and things like that. But still, now you're able to extend Byfield's learning curve. He gets to sit there and kind of take his time. He can sit at a 3C because you have a guy like Danault and Kopitar. He can take his time getting meshed in, get with his line mates that are eventually also probably going to move up to that second line. I mean, that's the thing is this is a big thing organization-wise.
Yep.
So then when Byfield's ready with the talent that he has, moves to 2C, and then you have Danault move down to 3C. By the time he moves down to 3C, $5.5 million is going to be, that year's fucking
a kick in the bucket. Yep.
Yeah,
that's a kick in the bucket.
Yeah, it's going to be a $3 million contract as a 3C. That's a shutdown. I mean, this is a fantastic signing.
The homeboy is ecstatic to play in LA.
Mm-hmm.
He is excited to be in LA. Because
he was talking about looking up to Kopitar and just being excited to be on the same team and the same ice and learning from him and doing tips and tricks on being able to finish a little bit better and face-offs. And he's already decent on face-offs. I mean, there were already tweets coming out like, good luck winning a face-off against the Kings when they got Kopitar to know. Like,
good luck, dude. Honestly, dude, this sets up
very good signing.
This sets up the Kings to be competitive this upcoming season, and it also sets them up for the future. And I like it because of that. The future.
Yes.
Moving on to Vegas.
Yes, that was the big stuff. Oh wait, but we did lose. Who did we lose? Oh, we lost Matt Luff.
He signed with Nashville. Yep.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
We lost Jared Grimshaw.
Vegas.
Las fucking Vegas, man. They have made a lot of moves to free themselves of cap burden.
And to free themselves of being an respectable franchise.
Yes, they have moved out a lot of faces. They did trade Nick Holden in a 2022 third-round pick for Evgeny Dadonov. I mean, that's a move.
That was a solid deal. I actually think that wasn't a bad deal. I think Dadonov fits well on that team. That was one of the good moves that they made this offseason. I agree.
But they've also lost some young talent in Patrick Brown. Oh, no, not Patrick Brown. Where was it?
Yeah, they did. They lost Patrick Brown, didn't they? Oh, no, they re-signed him.
They lost Reed Duke, which I think was their first signing ever as a franchise. They moved out Tomas Nosek. They're able to sign Matthias Janmark to a one-year deal, but then they also
Sven
that is a signing. And then they also today traded Ryan Reeves to the New York Rangers for a third-round pick.
I'm honestly, look, as an organization, I think Reeves brings a little bit more to the table again for what they do. To lose that kind of sucks. But to get a third-round pick for Ryan Reeves, I think that's pretty impressive, to be honest with you.
I think so, too.
Just talent and numbers-wise, I think that's a very solid deal. What he did and what he brings as a locker room presence and on the ice presence, I think it's a fair deal, and I think they did a good job. And I don't think it's a loss or a gain there. I think that was pretty fair. They were able to get that third round pick, but yes, they did lose a lot on ice and in the locker room by losing Ryan Reeves.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see them being terrible next season, but I also don't see them getting any better by any of the moves that they made.
Especially when you factor in the best part of this fucking offseason for this fucking franchise. The guy that was he first of the expansion draft pick, or was he just?
I think he was first.
I think he was. Yeah, I think he was the first expansion draft pick. Marc-Andre Fleury.
They fucked him over. They did him dirty.
If you can fist a guy worse than what they did to Marc-Andre Fleury, I don't want to see that video. I really don't. Because what they did to this guy was...
Send it to me. I'll watch it.
What they did to this guy is an absolute shame, to be honest with you. I've said my piece on Fleury before he was a Vegas Golden Knight. I thought he was a little bit overrated because of the numbers he brought in the regular season. He's not been that fantastic in the playoffs prior to Vegas. When he was in Pittsburgh, that's why he lost his job to Matt Murray. He did bring a cup to Pittsburgh. But he did, he was an okay goalie at that point. He came to Vegas and he was the face of that franchise. He was a very, very good goalie. He just won the Vezina Trophy this past season. He has been an absolute godsend for this team. And what the image that he brings to that organization, and also however he's respected in the league, to hear that he found out that he was traded away to the Chicago Blackhawks, which we've already touched on. I didn't even touch on this because we were waiting for Vegas. He was traded to the Chicago Blackhawks for basically nothing for his contract of $7 million. And finding out via Twitter, that's an absolute shame, and they should be absolutely disgraced.
Shame! That's terrible.
They need to walk through the crowds and just get shit thrown at them, because that's an absolute,
shame.
It's absolute shame that they treated him that way. With the way he carried himself and his family there in Vegas. And he was just, he was the face of the franchise, and you basically just threw him away. Him being traded is one thing. To find out the way that he did, when you have that kind of image in a city, in an organization, and in the NHL, you need to get more than what he got. This is legitimately going, for those of you that watch the NFL, this is almost an Aaron Rodgers situation where you're basically taking your franchise guy and just dangling him out there like he's nothing and he's just another player. It wasn't cool what they did, and I have no sympathy for this team. I already was kind of annoyed with this team and what they've done, but the way they treated him is just absolutely asinine. It's just asinine the way that they did him.
Vegas is fucked.
Yes, but he did go to Chicago, and we'll see what happens with this future.
Moving on to Minnesota. Key notable signings, Dmitry Kulikov, and they also signed Alex Goligoski.
Frederick Gaudreau, too.
Oh, they did, huh?
Yep. Frederick Gaudreau.
Don't really have much to say. They're a shitty team.
They still need to figure out what the fuck they're doing with their Calder Trophy winning forward.
He doesn't have a contract for this season?
I think he does, but they're trying to extend him.
Oh. A team that made some moves, the Montreal Canadiens. They extended Joel Armia for 4 years. They also brought in Cedric Paquette on a 1-year deal, and they also brought in Mike Hoffman on a 3-year contract.
Mike Hoffman.
Mike Hoffman is going to bring some scoring that they desperately need, but losing Philip Deneau, I think, was going to be something big for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting team because of how well they played this past season. They obviously made the Cup final. I think they got hot at the right time, but you're losing a guy like Philip Deneau. You did bring in, Mike Hoffman, who could be on the power play with Tyler Toffoli. But this team got they also got David Savard.
That is true.
They could surprise again. I mean, they're going to lose Tatar. He's a UFA, but I don't think they're looking to bring him back. Well, they may now because I heard that they were in on a couple of the big fish. But I think they have. Oh no, sorry. Hoffman's going to replace Tatar. My bad. Hoffman's going to replace Tatar. Tatar's going to walk. They brought in a Paquette. They did re-sign Armia. I don't know. This is an interesting team to me. I don't
think they fucking make it in the playoffs.
Especially now that you're going back to a regular season, regular divisions. I think this is going to be very, very tough.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. You've got Carey Price still because his potential season-long surgery turned into I'll be ready next week. But
and also too, the league told him like, "Fuck you guys, you can't fucking send Carey Price to Seattle and then trade for him back." And then they did that with Vita Vanacek.
It's a different scenario. They wanted to do that because they wanted Seattle to retain some of the contract because he's at a 10.5 cap hit.
That's true.
Vanacek, they didn't do any type of.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Salary.
Moving on to New Jersey, the two big signings that they had, that Jonathan Bernier, which they signed to a 2-year contract. So I'm assuming he gets the starts next season, and Mackenzie Blackwood will back him up, or vice versa. Mackenzie Blackwood's not bad. It's not bad.
I like Blackwood. I think Blackwood's played well for them. So if they brought in Bernier to start,
I'd be looking elsewhere if I was Mackenzie Blackwood.
Yeah, I mean Blackwood's been great. I mean he was in the running for the Calder, I think last season.
Last season or the season before, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the big fish of this whole entire free agent frenzy, Dougie Hamilton signed a 7-year. What is it?
9.
Was it 9 flat?
Was it 9.5 though? Was it 9 flat? It might have been 9 flat.
9 times 7 is 63, so 9 flat. Yep. 7-year, $9 million contract, which I think is worth it to them.
To them, yes. Dougie is an offensive specialist. I think that's a signing.
That is a signing.
Again, Dougie was the prized possession defensive-wise on the market this season. And it really goes to what you're looking for as a team. I mean, I think he's great at what he does. He's a very, very good offensive D-man.
He also has great Corsi numbers, though.
His Corsi numbers are fine, but he also just seems to get lost in the defensive zone a lot. Which, with that, I mean, the goaltending tandem there, I wouldn't say is Vezina worthy.
True.
The forwards, are they going to score enough? I don't know. I don't think so. And that's a signing.
It is a signing.
I think it's quite a lot for an offensive defenseman for a team that just needs to get better.
I agree.
Just why? I mean,
side.
Realistically,
but that
allows
Subban to.
Yeah, but I think they signed Subban was known as an offensive defenseman, And I still think he was much better defensively than people gave him credit for. He was just that guy in Nashville. He went to a shit team. I'm sorry, but it was not as good on the ice as it was on paper.
Yeah.
And, now great. If you can pair that and Subban could elevate his game yet again.
Oh, no, they're going to move him back, man. They're going to move him back to the second pairing, and he's going to have a fucking great season.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if it works out, I hope it does for them, but God, that's a signing.
A team with a quiet fucking free agency was Nashville. Nashville really didn't do a whole lot. They signed David Riddick. They signed Matt Luff, and they also signed David Riddick to a 1-year contract. So it looks like it's going to be him and UC Saros battling it out for the starting goaltending spot.
They'll probably share. I think that's a good share there, to be honest with you. I think Riddick is decent, especially behind that decor. I know they've lost some of the core that they've had the last couple of seasons, but
they moved Ryan Ellis.
It's much better than Calgary's, and I think
true.
Riddick and Saros will be a good tandem there. Pekka Rinne retired. Congrats and a nice career Pekka had. Didn't get the cup, but he had a very long, successful career for sure. Yes, I know. I will be there eventually.
Moving on to they also re-signed Mikael Granlund to a 4-year contract.
Yes, they did.
Another team with a quiet free agency day was the New York Islanders. I don't think they signed anybody, do they?
No, but they're working on a couple of things. So I know Palmieri became a UFA, but they were very close on a deal for him. I did hear rumors that they were also talking to Zach Parise.
Yep.
What was the other one that they were? There was another.
Kyle Palmieri. I think they're trying to work out an extension.
Palmieri, yeah. Palmieri and Parise were kind of their targets. There was a trade that they were looking at too, but I think the Islanders, they still have most of the pieces that they want, and I think they have the ability to kind of get some depth back. I know they still want, again, Palmieri. They were looking at Parise. They want to re-sign, not Clutterbuck, but the other one.
I know who you're talking about.
Cizikas. They want to sign. Yeah, they want to get Cizikas back. We'll see. The Islanders are still chugging along. The Rangers, they also didn't do very much. They did sign Patrick Nemeth to a 3-year contract. They got Jared Tenorti to a 2-year deal.
And like we mentioned earlier, they brought in Ryan Reeves today with the trade with Vegas for a 3rd-round pick.
Yep. So I mean, they're making. They traded Pavel Buchnevich. What did they get for that? Why is that not showing on here? Yeah, they traded Buchnevich, which was kind of a shock because I know we were hoping to potentially get him, but
they signed, they didn't want to. Traded him to the Blues.
Yep, to the Blues. 4?
I'm looking right now.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't say.
All right. They traded him to the Blues for something. Probably draft picks, to be honest with you.
I think it is just draft picks.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thought he was part of their future, to be honest with you.
Ottawa brought in MDZ on a 2-year contract. All right. That is a signing.
MDZ?
Michael Del Zotto.
Oh, yeah.
That is a signing.
That it is.
They also acquired Nick Holden, like we mentioned earlier. They didn't really do much, though.
No, they were. This isn't really a shock. They're in rebuild mode, and I think they've got picks, they've got prospects, they've got some veterans. they're standing pat for now.
agree.
Philly is a fucking story.
That it is. They signed recently, bought out Martin Jones to a 1-year contract.
Yeah. Hey guys, hold on. Hey guys, we want Carter Hart to rebound because he's a good goaltender and just had an off season. But let's bring in a good veteran that can show you the ropes and how to play goaltender reasonably well. Let's sign Martin Jones.
Yeah, that is a signing, man. That is a signing.
What?
And outside of Martin Jones, all they've really done is sign Nate Thompson and trade Jacob Voracek for Cam Atkinson. That is all they've really done.
They also lost Brian Elliott.
They did, but I mean that's not really much.
Well, it is when considering that the only good goaltending that they've had in the last year was from Brian Elliott because Carter Hart had an off season.
That's true. That's true. Moving on to another Pittsburgh.
They did lose Andy Andrioff.
Holy fuck. I don't know how they'll rebound. Moving on to another Pennsylvania team. The Pittsburgh Penguins brought in Brock McGinn on a 4-year contract, which I think is great because they did lose Jared McCann.
Yeah,
so I think that's an
expansion draft. Yep.
So I think that is a great signing, and they also signed Evan Rodriguez to a 1-year contract extension. Yep. So they didn't really do much. San Jose brought in James Reimer.
They will be. Hold on. They will be going back, at least as of now, to their goaltending tandem.
Tristan Jarry and
yes,
Casey DeSmith.
Yes.
That's
a goaltending duo.
That it is. San Jose didn't really do much besides sign James Reimer. I mean, they need a goaltender. They also signed Nick Bonino to a 2-year contract, just like James Reiner. And they also signed Andrew Cogliano to a 1-year contract. Now, one key notable thing that San Jose did is they allowed what did he win last season? I don't know what he won. I can't remember what he won. But they allowed Curtis Gabriel to walk.
Yep, Curtis Gabriel is not back. Did they sign another goaltender too, though?
No,
I thought they did. Oh well. They also
Patrick Marleau's UFA.
Yeah. You said Cogliano, right?
Yeah. I did.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't do much.
Same for St. Louis. They didn't really do much either.
Well, I mean, they traded for Buchnevich.
And then we signed him to the 4-year contract.
Yep, signed him to a 4-year deal. They let Jaden Schwartz walk. Tarasenko has not been traded yet, but I did hear who else did they? Fuck, they signed somebody else today.
Let's look. I'm looking.
Oh my god, they did. They made a big signing today, and the way that they structured the deal. Brandon
Saad.
Yes, Brandon Saad. They were able to get him for 4.5. So apparently, this is the number they were hoping to get because now in a deal. They can retain some money to trade Tarasenko away, which is
now if the Kings want to fucking trade for Tarasenko, I'm not displeased with it.
Nope. Hold on to some of that cap.
Yep.
Tampa Bay. They did lose some key pieces, but they also
they lost a lot of key pieces, dude.
Yeah, they did, but I think
they pretty much lost their whole third line.
Yeah, but they did a decent job. I don't want to say replacing, but filling those spots. Obviously,
so they've lost
Savard.
They lost Coleman, they lost Gord, and they lost Goudreau.
Yep, Gord obviously in the Gord and Goudreau before or right at the expansion draft.
Yep.
Braden Point did sign an 8-year extension with the team, which was at a 9. Was it a 9.5?
9.5.
I think it was a 9.5. Still, I mean, Braden Point's an absolute monster, worth every penny. They did get Zach Bogosian to replace David Savard. Savard's probably a little bit better, but
here's my problem with Tampa Bay going next season. They lost a lot of key pieces in their bottom 6, and the only thing that they got to replace it was Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, which, don't get me wrong, PEB is a great fucking bottom 6 center, great penalty killer, but they've lost a lot of key pieces in their bottom 6.
Yeah, but they also got Brian Elliott as their backup now.
Oh, well, fuck me, dude. Fuck me, dude.
Brian, hold on. Oh, no. Brian Lashoff left. Yeah, I mean, I know that Billiams is talking about how kind of he was a little scared with what they lost, but at the same time, I think they have and will do a decent job replacing what they did lose. I'm not saying that they will be able to produce the same, but I think they can manage. You don't necessarily need to get exactly what you had.
I don't think they're going to three-peat, though. Not with that lineup. Not with that lineup. Mm-mm.
No. Toronto signed David Kampf. They signed. Hold on. Life, are you listening to this? Because I saw you just comment very recently. They signed number 1 center, Michael Amadio.
They did. They signed him. They signed him to a 2-way contract for 1 year.
Yes,
Good for him. Good for him for getting a fucking contract.
He's going to replace Zach Hyman because he's a spectacular player.
They also signed fucking defensive right-wing defenseman Alex Biega. They also signed him to a 1-year, 2-way contract. They have no depth in Toronto.
They did lose Freddie Anderson, so that's good.
Yep, they did lose him, so it looks like they're going to Jack Campbell.
Yes, they are.
Good for him. Moving on to Vancouver.
Yeah, we're almost done here. It's almost time to chill.
They signed Luke Shen. That's a fucking signing right there, dude.
Re-signed Luke Shen.
That's a
re-sign.
That is something.
Brandon
but they also
Suter.
Brandon
Suter came back too.
Yep, that he did. And they also re-signed Travis Hamonic to a 2-year contract.
And got Yaroslav Halak
as a goalie.
That's
a good backup
signing.
Yeah, that's a good backup though to Thatcher Demko.
Yeah, I think that's very solid. Him and Rask were a very, very solid duo. Now he goes to Vancouver, who's trying to just make some moves and be what we thought they were going to be, not what they ended up being this past season or season and a half. And if they can solidify their defense,
but don't forget that they also traded a bunch of fucking expiring fucking aging contracts for OEL and Connor Garland.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a very, very good job. Again, this is one of those teams that they moved out some very anchor-like contracts. Yep. Yes, OEL could turn into one, but at the same time, they moved out more than they brought in. Yep. And OEL is still a good player. Yep. You throw him there in Vancouver. You've got Connor Garland, who is a very, very good player.
I think they also just re-signed him to a multi-year deal worth $5.5.
Yes, they did. They signed him to a multi-year deal. They signed Travis Hamonic.
They might be a lot better than they were.
They should be, on paper, they should be a lot better than they were this last season. They accelerated because after this past season, it looked like they were going to take a step back.
Oh, and they also brought in Tucker Pullman.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes, they did. We got a couple teams left here. Just a couple. Washington. Washington re-signed the big fish. They re-signed Alexander Ovechkin.
4-year deal?
4-year deal. I think it was 4-year.
Yeah, 4-year deal. I can't remember what the
9.5, I think.
Yeah,
4 or 5-year deal. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's going to be there. They also
brought
back for Vitek Vanacek. Again, this goes back to the trade that Zach was talking about. This one was allowed because it had nothing to do with anybody retaining any contract, any term or salary.
They also brought in Matt Irwin. Matt Irwin.
Matt Irwin.
Yep. So I mean that's a signing. Nothing big from them. And if you look at Winnipeg, I just don't see anything big from them.
They lost
either.
Derek Forbort, man.
They did, but they also brought back what's his name? They also brought back Paul Stastny.
Yes, they did, and they signed Mikey Esimont.
So another Kings prospect getting signed somewhere.
I'm glad to see it. He deserves a shot. He just was not going to crack this prospect laden team.
Yep, this is true.
So good for him. They did lose Laurent Brossoit. He signed. Where did Brossoit sign? He signed somewhere else as a backup too.
And they also lost Nate Thompson
and Trevor Lewis.
Big dog Trevor Lewis.
Big dog. But I think that is pretty much it. We just have one thing left to do.
What did you drink?
Bro, paperback.
Bitch.
Furious George.
I wanted to get that, but I kind of got turned off by what I read, like on the can.
Yeah, normally I would too, because I've told you multiple times, I'm not a big Belgian fan.
Yeah, that's what turned me off.
So the reason I gave it a shot is because it's a bourbon barrel-aged Belgian triple.
Ooh. Boozy?
I'm surprised how not boozy it was, but it was very good. Again, Belgian, I've just had a couple of, I don't want to say bad experiences, because really it was just kind of like a slight headache, and it's the only beer that has done that to me.
Yeah.
But very flavorful, especially with the bourbon barrel. It is a nice, cool 10%. So
Ooh.
It was nice. Definitely needed. But it's the special 1-year anniversary ale from Paperback, which I've very much enjoyed every single beer that I've had from them. So I really wanted to give it a try.
Paperback puts out some good shit.
And that's the big reason I gave it a try. Aside from the barrel aged, because I have had some barrel aged beers that I'm not necessarily normally a fan of, so I wanted to give it a try just because it was the anniversary beer, and I would definitely fuck this beer.
You caught me off guard there. All right. You caught me way off guard. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Although I had this, which was really fucking good.
I have that in my fridge.
Really, really fucking good.
Yeah.
This week I'm gonna do the Tripping Animals.
I had that. I sent you a picture when I was at that party.
For the Birds. It is a triple IPA with Nelson, Swarven, and Monteca hops. I'm not a huge fan of Nelson hops. I'm not.
Nelson hops.
I'm not a big fan of Nelson hops. It's just not my favorite. And every time that I took a drink of it, I could taste the Nelson hops, and I just didn't like it. So with this beer, I mean, I would get it again because I like tripping animals. It was very smooth for a triple IPA.
Yeah, I agree.
The only downside was the Nelson. So I'm probably gonna give it a good old that's gonna be like a 7 out of 10 for me. I'm not gonna go out of my way to get that again because I know my bottle shop still has it. I'm not gonna go out of my way to get it, but it wasn't bad. If somebody had it, I'll drink it.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I did have the same beer on Saturday, so
It's not bad. It's
no,
not bad.
not at all. It's
just
a
that
nice
Nelson.
triple IP.
The Nelson the Nelson hops is very overwhelming. Like on the aftertaste of it. I was just like, wow. I'm glad that I had that Great Notion after. Really
Great
cleansed
Notion,
my palms.
baby.
Yep, Great Notion.
I just sent John's package today, so
I hope he likes it.
Yeah.
But as always, people, make sure to follow us on all the socials. On Twitter, you can find us at in the NTRL zone. Instagram, you can find us at itnz .hockey, and then on Twitter, on YouTube, you can find us at In the Neutral Zone Hockey Podcast, where you can see our beautiful mugs every week with a new episode for you guys. So this was our free agent frenzy episode. But as always, you know what they say. With that being said,
go to chill.